Unearthed Relics, and these are some of my most recent Goodwill Outlet finds. This was from just a really short trip. I know I say that a lot, but a lot of times I'm ducking into a Goodwill Outlet in between other things that I'm trying to do, like meet up with friends or family, or dropping people off at the airport or picking them up. In any case, a lot of times I don't have a long time to go to the Goodwill Outlet, and in this case I had just a couple hours and was excited about some of the things that I was able to discover, especially some things that are holiday related. So let's go ahead and dive on in. I found some great Christmas things on this trip, along with 2 vintage stockings. I love this. This was the style that we had growing up. They had the little kits where you could make them. I just think that one's really precious, and usually I think they're made by hand. I guess maybe they could be mass produced in some cases, but both of these look like they were handmade and just absolutely delightful. Also found a set of little bottle brush trees in different colors. I found this retro ornament. It's missing whatever was inside of it, but I thought one of those little trees, along with maybe a little deer or something like that and some snow, would look perfect inside of that and bring that back to life. A really cool set of ribbon with some holiday lights and greenery on it. I thought that would be great for like the binding or even on a page within a junk journal. Some jingle bells, which are great for little holiday assemblages, and some fabric and a cute little bag, which I thought could either be great for presents or, again, stuck in a junk journal or something as a pocket. So great Christmas things all around. This little ornament I thought was so precious. I've seen these before. I don't think they're too terribly rare, but he was kind of cute, so I went ahead and got that. And this candle, I only found the one, and it's never been used, but I think that's so cute with the little Santa face on there. I don't think I would have the heart to light it, but that's probably what somebody else thought too. Also found this little Santa here. I think he could, yeah, he was sitting up, so he can sit up. And he's really cute. He looks really similar to another one that I'd gotten recently, so maybe we'll expand out a collection of those. And some older ornaments, so glass ornaments that kind of had a neat look to them in terms of how they've aged. Speaking of glass things, I found this cool, what I'm assuming is an old perfume bottle. It just had a really neat sort of design to it, and I guess if your name begins with an H, then it's perfect because it's got a big H on it. So I don't know what kind of perfume that would have been, but that was really cool. Found a couple puzzles. I haven't yet worked them, but I'm excited to do that. They say they're over 70 pieces, so probably under 100, most likely. So I think these would be fun. This one has a really cool kind of retro look to it, and this one's just kind of silly. But always try to grab the puzzles when they look like they're not spilling out pieces, or have some fun designs, as was the case with those. I also really feel like I hit the jackpot with books. I haven't seen books very often. There used to always be book bins, and the last couple of times that I've gone, I've not seen book bins, so I was really excited to find a book bin, and right off the bat, I found this really cool Oldsmobile operating manual from 1960, so it's very retro. I love the fact that it's so skinny. You know, I think about my vehicle operation book, and it feels like I'm reading a dictionary or an encyclopedia because it's so involved, but it was very simple to drive the 1960 Oldsmobile. A Vogue art. These are iron-on patterns. This one has days of the week along with birds. This is a card. It's obviously a reproduction of an image, but it's a really cool people recreating a clock from 1933, so that's kind of fun and New Year's-y. Pioneer Proverbs, which I think have some fun elements that would be great for junk journals and that kind of thing. I always love quotes or things that I can kind of cut out and add just a little bit of text that seems relevant to the thing that I'm working on. Got a cool old cookbook. The thing I love about this one, I've never seen this before, which a lot of times you see the same cookbooks that everybody had in their collection. This one was cool because it was famous restaurants from all over the US, maybe even North America, and they have little pictures of each of them in addition to recipes that were their specialties. So I think it's really cool to kind of see the different kinds of things that these different restaurants were serving in different parts of the country. And now I'm really curious to find out if some of these spots still exist and maybe use this as some inspiration for doing some road tripping. So that was a great find. This was Taste of the Past Recipes. It's not particularly old. I like the fact though that the font in here is kind of like a handwriting font. So in addition to maybe having some good recipes that I could try out, that one might be fun to do some crafting with too. Here's another older book. I'm gonna guess 60s. I haven't looked at the dates on all of these yet, maybe 70s. But Dinner for Two cookbook. I think it's interesting. Here's a little canning booklet. And this was another, this looks like somebody's class assignment. And lots of old vintage recipe cards, again with some really cool clip art on some of them that I think would be really cute, again as part of a junk journal or other crafts. Speaking of junk journals, I found some things like floss, which is I think fun for kind of little dangles off the journals. And this was another great trip for fabric. I found several fabric swatches, and if you buy fabric new, you know that it can be really expensive. So when somebody's like cleaning out their stash, they're giving up a lot of really, I think, valuable resources. In any case, I know that it's sometimes necessary to make room for new things. So I was able to pick up some fun fabric, and I'll show off some more of that here in just a minute. These cute little pockets that were designed for silverware, but I think those would be fun pockets in junk journals. That's perfect for 4th of July or other patriotic themes. A book of receipts. Love the orange and green on that one. Again, I think that would be great for some junk journaling. Some more play money. Mad Libs. I thought that might be fun as a, a base for junk journaling or elements of a junk journal. Wrapping paper, always try to grab that when it's in good shape. And a coloring book, I thought, again, this might be good pages to stick down inside of a junk journal. It has some fun, more vintage looking images, including some that are actually colored upon, which makes it, I think, more special in my opinion. I found a couple cool things related to Halloween, including this little book here with some really cool graphics of different witches and Halloween kinds of things, especially given that everything is kind of in orange and black in terms of the illustrations, and some kind of Halloween themed fabric as well. I also found a whole baggie full of these little vintage picks. I think that they had been for maybe somebody's birthday, but they say vintage 2010. In this case, I think it was probably only a 13-year-old's birthday, because I think the rest of them did say 13. In any case, because it said vintage on it, I'm like, well, obviously nobody's going to go back and celebrate 2010, so that part of it's kind of pointless, although the picks, I think I could come up with things to use as well. But the little word vintage, I think, is adorable, so I'm going to go through and cut that off of all of the little picks, and then I'll have cute little vintage things to stick onto crafts or into journals as well. I also found a great stash of Valentine's related things, and I'm excited about kind of cutting these up and seeing if I can put them together into little packets that I can share. This fun cellophane with the candy heart prints on it, more kind of hearts on this one. I think these would be cool in junk journals because you can lay it over other images and it's partially transparent, so that would be, or create a cool effect. Some felt hearts that are kind of nice with a little scallop design on there. Some Valentine's stickers. There's a couple that are used, but the bulk of them are still there. Some more pink kind of string. It's not really yarn, it's not really string. I don't know what you would call this. Little baggies for presents. These look to be kind of mid-size. They've got cookies in there, but I thought, again, those could be fun pockets or fun things just to stick little collections of things down into. Little applique, here's some more pockets, and some more fabric. This I actually got to be fabric because I think that's adorable. I think this would look absolutely fantastic as a cover of a junk journal or page dividers within maybe a binder style journal. It's a top sheet, and I didn't feel any guilt because it was just a top sheet until I found the bottom of the sheet. And then I decided, okay, well, it's not that much more. I'm gonna go ahead and get the bottom of it. And I might try using it as a sheet first before retiring it to become fabric. I don't know, I always feel guilty when something still is in good shape as opposed to kind of all worn out. I don't know, tell me if you have the same kind of reaction to things. But I have options now. So I found an old vintage slip. I don't think this one's terribly old, but older. It's like an older style. And it's got lots of great kind of lace embellishments on it. So I'm gonna go through and kind of cut those off and get ready to use those for some junk journaling. I also think I'll be able to maybe do ribbons out of the fabric, so that'll be a fun piece to repurpose. And I found this delightful, this was on the bolt. I took it off of the bolt because I didn't feel like it was necessary to buy a giant cardboard tube in addition to the fabric. It was a little bit heftier, but when you think about how much, again, you pay for fabric, but especially upholstery fabric, I thought that this was a pretty good deal. And it's got like the little chenille sort of kind of bump outs on it. It's probably got an official name, I don't know. I love the fact that it kind of creates sort of different colors, the different ways you look at it. And I thought that might be fun to do a set of pillows for Valentine's coming up. So I'm gonna play around with that, because the other thing that I found that was kind of fabric related, I loved the fabric on this. I did not have the heart to cut it up at the store because it says down on it, so I'm going to take them at their word on that. I did not want to recreate a scene from a movie and have feathers flying everywhere in the middle of Goodwill Outlet. I suspect I might get in trouble for that. In any case, I realized it wasn't super heavy and that maybe I could reuse the down as part of pillows so that I could get at the fabric, which was the thing that I was really interested on this old pillowcase, which despite its apparent age, I think is still in pretty good shape. And I think that that would be really fun fabric to use also. Also found some ribbons, heart doilies and boxes that I'll be able to do assemblages with. A little old, I'm assuming handmade doily. This one was kind of cool and leaf shaped. And this was an old perfume box that had some cool paper in it. And I just stuck some lace and trim down into that. So that was the product of about an hour and a half worth of Goodwilling at the Goodwill Outlet, and I think I found some treasures. So I'll put details in if I'm gonna do giveaways from any of the things in this haul, but stay tuned. And if you haven't already subscribed, please do, and also consider sharing or hitting the like button, or both. Thanks for joining me today, and hope to see you soon.